Movement is medicine. For 11 years, the well-attended ASH Foundation Run Walk has been a fun, healthy, and philanthropic way for hematologists to kickstart their day with a feel-good activity. And year after year, the event proves to be wildly successful.
I'm really happy to be here again today. It's an exciting day, energized.
I wanted to be part of the foundation. And that is what I'm doing today.
We are going to try and go as fast as we can, right? Yeah. See what we can do. We're excited to just support the foundation.
The ASH Foundation Run Walk is the biggest fundraising arm that we have every year. This year, all funds will go to the Greatest Needs Fund, which will empower ASH to tackle the greatest challenges and expand programs throughout all of hematology. We can only do it with the help of our donors.
More to come from Day 3 of the ASH Annual Meeting and Exposition. You're watching ASH News TV.
ASH's top priority is to deliver world-class education so you can focus on what you do best, improving the lives of patients living with blood diseases.
With AI infiltrating every aspect of our world, it's crucial for hematologists to learn how artificial intelligence can improve research and streamline clinical workflows in hematology. This session on artificial intelligence in hematology, from generative AI to ethics and applications, is designed to see how AI is changing hematology. Dr. Olivier Elemento, chair of the session and appointed member of ASH's subcommittee on artificial intelligence, shared updates and key insights during this exciting session.
The sky is the limit in terms of what AI can achieve in hematology. There's a lot of AI in the lab and not enough in the clinic, and I'm really trying to push towards trying to bridge the lab and the clinic. We need more clinical trials of AI. We really need to generate this clinical evidence to be able to put AI in front of a doctor and get them to use AI on a daily basis.
Welcome back to ASH News TV. Today, we're going to talk about plenary abstracts. We just saw an amazing plenary session, and it led me to wonder. You know, I try to conduct cutting-edge research, stuff that I think is amazing. I write it all up into an abstract. I submit it to the ASH site, and I press that submit button. What happens after that?
Well, this year what happened was a lot of abstracts, over 8,500. And they go into a complicated software system, and then they go out to an incredibly dedicated expert panel of over 600 reviewers on 100 different categories who are subject experts. Each panel of 6 reviewers gets all the abstracts in their category and rates them based on their quality, their novelty, the solidity of their methodology and statistics. And then they come back together a couple weeks later in August to have a conference call when they discuss together what they think the best abstracts are. And if there's discrepancies in scoring, you know, they come to a consensus. And that's how you end up with over 1,000 oral abstracts, over 5,000 posters. And for the plenary session, each category puts forward 2 of their best abstracts, as well as any other highly meritorious abstracts they think should be considered for the plenary. And what works in a plenary session is abstracts are going to be of interest to a wide swath of ASH membership and meeting attendees. So something that if it's a basic science abstract, that a clinician could understand how that could be important in the clinic in a couple of years. You know, if it's a clinical abstract, is it, you know, really going to be practice changing? Is it a new interesting drug that has a mechanism of action that basic scientists or translational scientists might be interested in, or that could be extrapolated to other diseases? So, you know, I come up with a list of maybe 30 to 35 abstracts that we send out to the program committee and everybody looks at, thinks about. And then we get together in September as a program committee and we go through each of those abstracts. So what it comes down to is thinking about also having a breadth of hematology to present in the plenary session. It's usually a little bit of, you know, jockeying around if we have too many really strong abstracts in one exact similar area. You know, we strive to have something for, you know, everyone in the session.
Just to put this in context, we started with over 8,000 abstracts, brought it down to about 1,000 oral presentations, and now down to 6 plenary abstracts, less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of being selected for a plenary. So I have to ask you the ultimate unfair question. And I know this is like asking you to choose your favorite child, but of the plenary abstracts we just saw this year, did you have any favorites?
Well, Mikhail, it is really tough because that's like my teenage daughters, when they're not teenagers anymore, would ask me, who's your favorite? But because I study hematopoiesis in the laboratory and because clinically I work on bone marrow failure, I think my abstract of greatest interest was the one on platelet factor 4 and its impact on keeping hematopoietic stem cells youthful. Because not only did they show this pathway to be really important in very rigorous mechanistic mouse models, they actually also showed that they could take platelet factor 4, a protein that can be produced like any other cytokine, infused it into these mice, and if they were older mice, they could rescue them to become more youthful in terms of their stem cell function, their immune function. And so I think that's really amazing. And I think for some of the marrow failure diseases I work on, or some of the, leukemic patients that you give a whole lot of chemotherapy to and then they end up with, problematically damaged marrows later on, the ability to maybe protect them or rejuvenate them with platelet factor 4 is really, really exciting. So I think that was my favorite. What about you? What was your favorite child?
So I have an unfortunate bias or a fortunate bias. I was an author on an abstract that looked at the rates of transplantation in patients from different socioeconomic status communities, which I thought was fascinating. It basically showed that, as you might expect, people from lower socioeconomic status communities were less likely to be offered a transplant. Those who were more likely to be receiving food stamps were less likely to be offered a transplant, even though the outcomes of these patients was about the same as folks who weren't from those disadvantaged communities.
I like that one a lot too.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sitting with me for a few minutes, and thank everyone for tuning in today to ASH News TV to talk about the plenary abstracts at ASH.
Advances in gene editing and cellular therapies offer promising new therapeutic options that are poised to revolutionize care for those with hematologic conditions. This joint session addressed the current challenges and opportunities in applying gene editing technologies to hematology.
This is a really exciting time on so many levels. It's exciting clinically. It's also exciting on a scientific level because we're really starting to see the fruits of basic science. This harkens back to recent Nobel Prize in CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, and so there's different kinds of technologies that are always emerging, including using non-viral CRISPR-Cas, prime editing, all these really exciting ways to be able to really manipulate the DNA and use that particular technology to cure disease by editing stem cells.
This joint session focused on emerging therapeutic strategies targeting epigenetic, transcriptomic, and metabolic mechanisms, and what new technologies or methodologies are likely to drive innovation.
The most important progress we're seeing now and in the future is how these various aspects of the hallmarks of these diseases, the epigenomic, transcriptomics, metabolomics, is being integrated, right? The science is being integrated, which allows us to see the crosstalk of these pathways, which again allows us to understand a lot more about the biology of the disease. And as a result of that, it reveals new targets that we can then pursue.
The Novartis-sponsored VAHIT-1 and VAHIT-2 Phase 3 studies in patients with primary immune thrombocytopenia are currently enrolling in the United States. VAHIT-1 and VAHIT-2 investigate the addition of ianalumab to standard first-line corticosteroids and second-line thrombopoietin receptor agonist therapy, respectively. The primary endpoint is time from randomization to treatment failure. Visit the Novartis booth, number 2529, for more information.
ASH is committed to supporting and embracing diverse voices across the hematology community. We are here at the LGBTQIA+ Community Networking Brunch. It's an event that is fostering belonging, and I'm joined by Dr. Yutzi. Can you tell us a little bit about the importance of an event like this for hematologists?
Yeah, certainly. It is really important, as you can see from the background of the people gathering now, to come together and as a community show that we are visible and represent for each other basically as mentor and mentees within the community and have visibility of leaders who self-identify as LGBTI+. It is also important in our healthcare to be inclusive in a way that we treat patients in an equitable way and being aware of natural biases that occur and therefore being able to have better care for everyone. That's why this is such an important event organized by the ASH DEI committee, and it's just the start of the conversation, also given the current circumstances with the new administration and legislation in some of the states, making it harder for patient care, but also making it, what I heard today, harder for individuals to feel safe and come to these events. So we have to increase the visibility to really create a space that is growing and feeling stronger and more inclusive, and therefore helping everyone within the community, outside the community, and ultimately for patient care.
What could some of the allies do, the allies of all that you mentioned, whether they are clinicians, whether they're researchers, what can they do to help foster that community and that belonging?
Yeah, that's very important. Also today we had definitely some allies here on purpose to say like, come in and observe, be part of it, and take it wherever you go, be it in medical school, be it in residency, because it's not possible to create an actual inclusive, diverse and equitable environment without including the majority of the population. You just have to be open to it and create a safe environment, and then people will thrive. That's basically what happens.
You will. That it is thriving here. You can really feel the welcoming and the community that ASH has brought together. So thank you for your time and for this session. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
ASH News TV also spoke to attendees about how mentorship and community have had a positive impact on their careers.
To have those mentors be at my presentations, to introduce me to other mentors at future institutions, and to even be here and come up and congratulate me for being in the panel. And that to me represents a sense of belonging at ASH, in the sense that what I do and what my identity, it matters to ASH and matters to hematology.
For early career physicians and scientists and trainees, it's often challenging to find mentors, to find collaborators. And I always believe that whatever type of opportunity to bring people together on something that they share in common, whether it's a shared experience or background, say med school, anything that can bring people together is a great way for early career physicians and scientists and trainees to just come together, find collaborators.
The Clinicians in Practice Lunch is where practitioners share some of the important issues facing physicians. Here to discuss the value of the conversations taking place today is Dr. Mary Elizabeth Percival. Dr. Percival, this session is all about AI, and of course we've been talking about AI throughout the annual meeting. We'll talk a little bit more about it now. But how will this session support hematologists and their understanding of the potential of AI in their practice?
Well, we have 3 exciting speakers today to discuss the value of artificial intelligence with a particular focus on how it relates to hematology practice. So Dr. Jim Whitfill is going to give an overview of AI and how it affects practice. So that will be a great primer for people who are less familiar with how AI is encroaching or helping out in various areas of clinical practice. The second speaker, Dr. Mans, is going to be speaking specifically about some particular tools and how we can incorporate AI to be more successful in clinical practice. So specifically a project that he has worked on with goals of care and documenting that so that we can make sure that the uses of AI are really important for our patients and for that patient-practitioner relationship. And then our final speaker, Dr. Gwen Nichols from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, is going to be talking about things more from the patient perspective and how patients are responding to the use of AI by their physicians and hematologists in practice. So it should be a great session.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for all of your contributions, Dr. Percival, and thank you for spending time with us here on ASH News TV.
Thanks, my pleasure.
Patients with high-risk LBCL may need an alternate direction for frontline therapy. What if we can offer patients with high-risk LBCL another path at diagnosis? Research is ongoing. Novartis is investigating a first-line approach for patients with high-risk LBCL. Learn more at booth number 2529.
The ASH EHA Joint Symposium is intended to address global issues in hematology from both a North American and European perspectives. This year's topic is myelodysplasia, a complex and heterogeneous clinical entity with varying progression rates. Presenters share the significant progress being made in our understanding of the molecular and genetic basis for this disorder.
A big challenge in our current aging population through the world, so the population of ASH and the population of EHA, is unexplained anemia of the elderly. When do you intervene? How do you distinguish with MDS? There are some very thoughtful questions if everyone needs MGS or not, and how soon should one possibly start an ESA or consider other intervention.
Treatment of anemia is very important because anemia is the most relevant prognostic factor for this patient population, and there is now evidence that achieving a sustained response in terms of hemoglobin improvement and transfusion independence is associated with improved clinical outcome for the patients.
ASH's prestigious honorific awards recognize hematologists who have made significant contributions to the field of hematology. This year's recipients are Dr. Stephen D. Neimer, ASH Mentor Award recipient, Dr. Charles A. Schiffer, ASH Mentor Award recipient, Dr. James George, ASH Award for Leadership in Promoting Diversity recipient, Dr. Mary Houlihan, ASH Outstanding Service Award, and Dr. Elian Gluckman, Wallace H. Coulter Award for Lifetime Achievement in Hematology recipient.
I'm still working. I am working always on this non-malignant disorder like Fanconi and sickle cell disease, and we are doing immunogenetic study to improve the long-term outcome. I'm very honored, and I'm very glad because it's not a personal achievement. I think it's a community, and I am also very proud because there are very few women who got this award.
Congratulations to all of the 2024 honorific award recipients. Also, don't miss the William Damashek Prize and the Henry M. Stratton Medals recognition taking place on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Congratulations to this year's recipients. Dr. Ami Bhatt, William Damashek Prize recipient. Dr. Douglas Sines, Henry M. Stratton Medal recipient. Dr. Catherine High, Henry M. Stratton Medal recipient. Thank you for your contributions to hematology and to ASH. Congratulations.
The Novartis-sponsored WAHIA clinical trial is currently enrolling in the United States. WAHIA is a phase 3 study of ianalumab in patients with warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia who failed at least one line of treatment. The primary endpoint is the achievement of durable response for at least 8 consecutive weeks between week 9 and week 25 in the absence of rescue or prohibited treatment. Visit the Novartis booth number 2529 for more information.
The ASH Research Collaborative is a nonprofit organization established by ASH in 2017 to improve the lives of people affected by blood diseases by fostering collaborative partnerships to accelerate progress in hematology. The ASH-RC's innovative multiple myeloma and sickle cell disease research networks are aggregating real-world data, accelerating evidence generation for research, and improving clinical practice. We spoke with Dr. Saad Usmani, chair of the Multiple Myeloma Steering Committee, at Saturday's special interest session, highlighting the work of the ASH-RC's Multiple Myeloma Research Network.
We spoke about the state of the Myeloma Data Hub. We also talked about our first decentralized study, COSMIC. We also engaged external investigators who are working in the United States as well as in Europe on real-world evidence generation for specific questions. We just wanted to learn from everyone's experience and see how we can collectively move forward and build a stronger myeloma data hub and collaborative projects.
A major success of the ASH-RC has been the Data Hub, which has been ingesting real-world data on over 25,000 sickle cell patients nationwide. ASH News TV spoke with Dr. Alexis Thompson, who gave us a preview into Monday's session.
The ASH Research Collaborative's Data Hub has really been a remarkable success, and I hope that members and other people attending the meeting really get a chance to see all the things that are happening. This is going to give us an amazing resource to be able to use real-world data to generate real-world evidence, and that evidence can help us to power clinical trials. It'll help us look at the quality of life of patients. It'll allow us to do primary research, and so this is going to be a phenomenal opportunity to create a resource that's going to help so many people.
Another productive day at the 66th ASH Annual Meeting and Exposition has come to a close, but there's still much more to come. We hope you'll continue to watch ASH News TV as we cover exciting highlights from our final day here in San Diego. See you on the next episode.